Cast Nation, welcome back to another update video. So, what has happened? What's going on? Let's talk about it. So, on May 23rd of this year, I quit UPS. Okay, I walked in. I told all my supervisors to their faces I was done. I wasn't coming back. Okay. And I walked out after a hard shift. By the way, let me tell you, it was not an easy shift. It was like, oh my God, this is heck. But walked out, went home, and a week later I came back to my paycheck, my first paycheck. So the question I have, how much money did I make my first week of working at UPS? I made $313.14. Okay. My second paycheck was $250. I called out one day. I did call out for one day, which was on a Tuesday. My third paycheck was about, I think, $340. I'll put the number up here, $340 or whatever. And as far as my experience goes, number one, I said it once, I'll say it again. I enjoyed working at UPS, okay? This is not gonna be a video of me ripping them off, cussing them out, talking badly about them. No. I applied for UPS and I got the job and I worked, you know? I made some great memories, met some cool people, had a great experience, to say the least, right? I mean, was it a hard job? Yes. Is it easy for everybody to do? No. But at the end of the day, I made money and it paid my rent. That's all I cared about. I'll be honest, that's all I cared about. I said it once, I'll say it again. The entire reason why I worked at UPS was to pay my rent for this month of June. That's the only reason why I did, okay? I came home from Amazon April 30th, 2025, this year, and I specifically went to UPS, went to FedEx, I applied to UPS, and I got the job, okay? Now, how they treat me? Treat me well. They treat me well. I will say, I work with 5 supervisors. I work with Mike, Sean, John, Jihad, and Tony. Okay, and Litzy, but Litzy not too much, right? I will say this much. My first day, well, not first day, I would say my third day, because the first day, you were in a classroom the whole day, right? You're in the classroom the whole day, watching some videos, going over a packet, right? Your second day, you're basically given a tour of the warehouse. And your third day is when you finally get to work in the warehouse itself, okay? I met my supervisor, John. I met a lot of people there. My first night was third night. My first night, because my third night, my first night working at UPS, it was overwhelming. I'll be honest. I was stressed out. I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, because they put me in a truck, and I wasn't aware of this at the time, but I was in a busy truck to where they put me in the truck. Mike comes in behind me, pause, and essentially helps show me how to build a good wall. He's step by step, helps correct me when he can, and he did a very good job. He was on top of it the whole time. He checked in every 5 to 10 minutes. He was very reliable. I would say that right now, he was very reliable, very easy to conversate with, and I really appreciate it, okay? I will say this much, at UPS, as a loader, you are given a rate. I never knew, and I'll be honest, I never knew if I hit rate. Because my entire time being there, I asked about my rate a couple times. The rate at UPS, the starting off rate was about 100, I think, and then it was 250, 300, and then 300, right? And you spend time with Mike. Again, it could be different for everybody. You spend time with Mike, but again, it could be different for everybody. And after that first week, the second week I came in, I did work with Sean, his other brother, right? And Sean was similar, but not really. Sean was less talkative, which is fine. Not everyone's gonna be talking and stuff. And he helped me out and stuff. I messed up a lot. I will say that much right now. I did mess up. I was probably, and I know people said I wasn't, but I was probably in my eyes, specifically, the worst loader they've ever worked with. I'm just being honest. You know, I was terrible. I wasn't fast. I was very slow. I met a lot of good loaders, a lot of them who were cool to work with, who were very nice to me, very kind to me. But me, I was terrible. Like I said, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna come on camera and tell all of you your faces I was the best loader at UPS. I was terrible. I was like, I pretty much already knew before John told me the news he told me that I was gonna be fired. I already knew it. I was like, I know this, right? So I work with Mike, I work with Sean, and then I work with Tony, and I work with Jahad, right? Tony, Jahad, same thing. Jahad was really cool, really nice. He was there with me the whole time. Tony was easy to work with as well. All the supervisors are easy to work with, right? The one mistake I made, which again is subjective, because certain people like to load this way, which is fine. And the person that did this, I'm not going to say their name because they've probably been there longer than I have. And I got in trouble because of something I did, but that's fine because again, they've probably been there a lot longer than me, you know? What I did was I went to a truck with the person and I loaded the wall by essentially, when you build a wall up in a truck, from what I was taught, you do it all the boxes horizontally, some of them standing up, but not the whole wall, right? One person did that and I started following their lead. And then Sean came in and basically told me next time I would be the one fixing it and not him, okay? And basically I will say as much. It was on certain nights busy, chaotic, and hell. On other nights it was slow and easy to manage, right? I will say as much. John is someone who expects everyone to be on their best game, to be on their top game, top notch, everything, right? I not to talk badly about him, but I told him from the very beginning that I'm a visual learner, and he like basically was like, cool, great, and all that. I didn't tell him and everyone else, which I should have done. I should have done this. That's on me. I should have spoken enough for myself and said, by the way, I have a disability. You know, it takes time for me to learn stuff, right? And I think that someone said something to HR because HR then came to me and asked me about it. And I was like, you know, whatever. That was the week I was ready to quit. So I wasn't going to fight about it, you know? But John was coming up to me and kind of, you know, basically say, come on, let's step it up, push. Which again, makes sense because the work is just back to back up, right? It was so backed up, all because like, see, you had people going scan boom. I'm going over, basically scanning the package, grabbing it slowly. Again, I wasn't the fastest, okay? Most of the loaders are pretty good pacing. Some of them take their time, which is cool. Like I said, I'm not gonna come out here and tell you what to do. If you want to go to UPS, to another warehouse or whatever, and you know, work slow, work fast, up to you, you know? I will say as much. Other than, yeah, like I said, so yeah, the week before I would decide to quit, I was in a truck by myself, and John came up to me and told me that my probationary period was coming up. What I think that means is you work at UPS for 30 days, right? In the 30 days, they expect a certain performance out of you, which was never told to me, right? No one ever told me, like I would say this much. Amazon is better at this than UPS is because Amazon would come up to you and tell you, listen, Galaxy, your rate has been terrible. You have had multiple write-ups and you're on your 5th or 6th one. And if you get to a 6th one, that's it, right? They basically, every single week, they would come up to you and tell you, hey, so-and-so, your rate was terrible, your productivity was terrible, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I was given, it's like John was coming to me telling me I wasn't doing the best. And pretty soon, if they couldn't find something else for me to do, I would be fired, right? And I was like, that sucks here, but it is what it is. So I just continued to work the rest of the next 2 weeks. I came in one little bit late one time, but the rest of the time I came early. And like I say, UPS is not as strict as Amazon. They're not. UPS doesn't have write-ups. I was never gonna write up. I was never in trouble really. I got in trouble one time because I was in a truck by myself, and it was in a truck to where the work was constantly like certain trucks, and especially if you're with another person, it's very easy to have a good flow, right? I remember my one shift at UPS, specific one shift, that was my favorite shift of work. I came in, I was under Tony. Shout out to Tony, by the way. Shout out to Tony, shout out to Sean, shout out to Mike, shout out to Jihad, shout out to Litzy, and especially shout out to John and Dwayne for their kindness, their hospitality. You know, me and John didn't, get along very well, but we had a decent relationship. We had some good conversations, and again, I appreciate him for his brutal honesty. Like, I'm not gonna come on here and talk badly about him or anybody else. They were harsh to me, if they were strict with me or uptight with me, that's fine. That's what they're supposed to do. Okay, but shout out to everybody I work with, especially to Hollis, O'Shea, and so many other people I got to work with. Great people. Okay. And Dwayne, of course. Shout out to Dwayne, the manager, who treated me very well, and I really appreciate that. Okay. But yeah, me and Tony, it was basically put me in a truck with me and Hollis, a guy that makes music, by the way, which I'd love to plug down below if I can. But me and Hollis, it was great because for the first time, it was a thing to where I was able to just push the work down constantly, get the jams, get the stuff taken care of, and Hollis was able to just build. And even Tony came in, I was like, dude, you're doing a great job. You're doing fantastic, And for the first time, I was like, oh my God. For the first time at UPS, again, my first time in the last 2 weeks I've worked there, I was given a compliment. Like some people said I was doing a good job, decent job. I would maybe say things about myself that were critical. They'd say, nah, you're good, you're okay, you're doing decent. But Tony was the one, for me at least, Tony and Jihad, both good people, who came up to me and told me, you're doing a great job, bragging about me, telling me I said that I did better than another associate, which I was like, I like a compliment, but at the same time, in a way, I don't like to be like, hey, I'm doing better than Gabby, I'm doing better than Papa Cash, I'm doing better than Jern. Because at the end of the day, it's not a competition. It's not. Because I remember with me, John specifically said to me, and this is all hearsay, I had no video evidence of this, no type of proof. He said to me that there was a new hire that was already doing better than I was. And I met the guy, and he was just like, yeah, that's, it sucks that it was said. I'm like, you know what? If it's true, it's true. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. Some people are better than others, and that's just what it is. Like, did it hurt me a little bit? Yeah. But at the same time, I'd rather him be honest with me and tell me the truth, maybe motivate me, than just sit there and cry about it, because crying gonna do nothing for you, If someone is better than me, that's fine, I understand that. I know it's terrible. Like, every time I was in truck by myself, they always sent somebody to be with me, So I know it wasn't the best. But the night that I worked with Hollis, it went daggum near beautifully. There was like a couple times we had to back up, whatever, had some jams coming down left and right. But other than that, it was a good night. I was like, oh my God, the first shift I had that went decently well for me, My last shift was with Tony as well. It was with Tony. Was with Tony, no one else. But the only time I got yelled at was, again, I was in a truck. I don't remember the girl's name, and I apologize, but it was I hate to say this, but I'm the same color, so I can't in a way. It was with a white girl. It was with a white girl, super nice girl, by the way. I wish I knew her name, I remember her name. But she was in a truck to where it was a small truck, but the work was just coming down crazy. Like, there was already, when I came in the truck, there was already stuff on the floor for me to build a wall off of. What happened was, it was so chaotic, and I was getting to the point to where I was messing my wall up so much, I said, screw it. I did the one thing you're not supposed to do, which is I went from building a wall to just throwing whatever at the wall to make it work, to make it look good. And the supervisor told me that if that ever happened again and I was a veteran loader, I would either be fired or given a write-up for it, okay? So that was my overall experience at UPS. Again, it's a very fast-paced environment. I'm sure you already know that, okay? As far as breaks go, no breaks. I never once got a break at UPS, but again, it did bother me because I can always get water. I can always use the restroom. That was never an issue, you know. There were plenty of times, I'm gonna say this right now, specifically, if you're working at UPS, please, for the love of God, I'm speaking from personal experience, make sure you walk in, you already have water in your system and a full stomach. Do not do the dumb thing that I did, which was one shift, I came in on an empty stomach. Or I did this for my last shift, which again, don't do. Don't, please. So, to give context, I went to Publix near me to give my mom some groceries. I walked to Publix and walked back. It's probably about 3 to 4 miles. And I'll say this right now, I did not have to walk. My grandma gave me money to Uber to and from and back. But I'm stubborn as can be. I decided to specifically just go ahead and walk, which was a huge mistake. And it had a massive impact on my performance because when I came to UPS, my body was still like in the phase like, oh my God, we just did this massive exercise of walking to and from, and I was already exhausted walking in. I was already tired, which you can't do, because I was walking in expecting an easy shift. Mostly Fridays are easy. This one was not. This one was we had to build walls for 2 trucks, and I think this is my last shift or the one before, but either way, I walked in, I started to build a wall, and I had 2 people come behind me. Jimmy, shout out to Jimmy by the way, another guy, and they're both good, they're both great, but it was hell for me because the whole time I am trying to keep up. I'm trying to go get myself Powerades, Gatorades, no soda, but one because by accident, and it was hell. So again, if you're someone who's gonna work at UPS, the one I worked at, please, for the love of God, make sure you walk in with a full stomach and make sure your body's ready to go, and make sure you're carrying lots of water or electrolytes. Don't come in with a monster. Don't do it. I never once, even if I could, I never once drunk a monster during my shift at UPS. Now at Amazon I did a lot, because at Amazon you have breaks, you get lunches and stuff, but at UPS you don't. Okay, again, no one ever told me I couldn't take a break. If I want to get water, use the restroom, I could. Okay, so again, I worked at UPS for, let's see, on the count of the week specifically, I started May 5th, 12th, and the 19th. So basically for 3 weeks I worked at UPS. And again, the best way to say this is, if you're asking me, should you work there? If you live nearby, you live locally, and you have the muscles, go for it. You know, if you want to make $500 to $600 a week, not gonna happen. Because the way UPS is simple. You come in usually on a Monday, 4:30, 4:15. As the week goes by, your hours, you come in later and later, right? The only time you're gonna work overtime is peak season, which I wasn't worried about because I'm not gonna come in. I'm not gonna work there during peak season, you know. But I never once worked overtime, never. Even as the supervisors, they usually are out by 10 or 11 o'clock. I would say this as well, is if you do work at UPS, just be ready for a lot of heat, because those trucks, they're like 95, 90 degrees. I was burning up, sweating profusely nonstop, okay? So that is again my experience at UPS. Now, to wrap everything up for y'all, I will answer this question one more time. Do you get benefits at UPS? And the answer is both yes and no, okay? You get benefits at UPS after 9 months of working there, okay? You get medical, everything, the whole 9 yards after 9 months of working there. So if I work there from now until February, I'd have benefits. The only thing you get on your first day is tuition paid for. That's it. Do you get vacation or PTO? The answer is yes. After a year working there, a year. After a year working there, you get 1 week of paid free vacation. 1 week. So if I work there again, let's see, it'll be what? March 10, April 11, May, June 12. So if I work there in May or June, I would be able to take 1 week of a paid vacation at my house, just not come in, okay? Now, Amazon, a lot better. We'll talk about it, okay? So that is again my experience at UPS. It was fun, it was fine. Would I go back there again? If I need a job, yeah, I would. Because at this point in time, when you're in a situation I am of being unemployed, it's not really a matter of choice. It's a matter of I need a job, what's available, who will hire me, you know? Lovely. So again, UPS, cool experience, but without saying too much right now, I may have some really good news for all of you come tomorrow, which is Monday, June 2nd, okay? Because the future is looking very, very bright for me. I decided to apply back home to try to get my old job back. And it looks like I may have it. Again, not this video, but the next. We'll talk about it. So as always, Cash Nation, that is my thoughts and my review of UPS. Again, I only worked as a loader there the entire time. I never did anything else, okay? It's very different from Amazon. There is no app you can use to track your schedule and everything. As long as, other question is this. Can you pick up shifts at UPS? No. You come in at a specific schedule, okay? As far as you basically, when you go to UPS, you pick availability, that's what you get. So if I said Publix, I'm available from 10 to 4 every day of the week, okay? Well then 11 to 3, 2 to 4, whatever from that time frame is what we'll put you down for, nothing else. Cool. So as always, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe for more. And by the way, this will hopefully be my last video about UPS. I don't want to make my channel dedicated to this warehouse. So Cash Nation, thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe for more reviews and reactions, Marvel DC News Roundup videos, and more. Not for this crap, but thank you for watching. You're awesome. Peace. The only reason I say not this crap is because I don't want to make 5 more videos about UPS or anything else. You know, I don't want to become a job-based channel, if that makes sense, you know? But again, you're awesome. Peace.